views and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, C.W. Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. You notice I said February instead of February. I'm working on that still, man. I know.
There we go.
It's a bad habit. We have a 34-degree Fahrenheit, rainy, yucky day here in north central Illinois. It is a 2 degrees Celsius. Maya, what do you have there in São Paulo?
Here it is a amazing day of Carnival.
Yeah, right.
So kind of doesn't matter the weather.
Yeah.
But it is 30 degrees Celsius and 89 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice. So you sobered up after about, 2 weeks of Carnival? Or
No, I wish though, but
Yeah, right?
it was 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days. That was like fun. I saw some pictures and some video that you posted. So very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it is very fun.
Yeah. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground View, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing joy through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is world traveler Carolyn Brochery with our special guest, Carolyn Brochery. 36-year-old free diver, French teacher, and former ski instructor from the southeast of France, Carolyn Brochery has lived in 6 different countries and has visited over 30 countries worldwide. She currently lives on the French Riviera in a town called Cagnes-sur-Mer, where she works as an educational advisor and also as a teacher in a private primary school. Carolyn grew up in a coastal town in the southeast of France called Saint-Raphael. As a kid, she was an outdoorsy person, spending time at the beach in the summer and in the mountains in the winter. At a young age, she learned to swim, wakeboard, sail, and ski, and by the time she was a teenager, she dreamt of traveling the world. While in college studying to be a nurse, Carolyn realized that she wasn't completely happy with her life, and, as fate would have it, it wasn't long before opportunity and timing would provide Carolyn the chance to pursue her dream of traveling the world. This evening, Carolyn joins us to share some highlights of her adventurous journey and some interesting experiences she's had along the way. And with that, welcome to the show, Carolyn.
Welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing this evening?
Very good. And you?
Excellent. Doing fantastic. We have to ask you, what is your temperature, and not down like Maya said, but over in France, the southeast of France? What is your temperature? We're going to get it in Celsius, I'm sure, right?
Yes. Right now it's 12 degrees Celsius.
Okay, I'm taking my cheaty little thing out here because 12 degrees Celsius, and that would be about, that's like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So
Yeah.
That's not too bad. It's not too bad. That's
It
a
is
little, it's like
pretty good,
spring
actually.
weather. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Especially
You guys are
because
what?
It's midnight right now, so
It's what?
it's midnight. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you for staying up with us. Thank you. And you're in, like Maya, you guys are in your winter months right now. Is that right?
yes, we are.
Or no, your summer months.
Oh, yes, I am the summer. You guys are in the winter because we are below of the equator.
Okay, so it's winter in France now too.
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. I was thinking it was the same as Brazil, but yeah, you're right. The equator. Yeah, that's the dividing line.
Sorry disappointing you.
Well, I know, right? Well, still 90 degrees down there, Maya. I'm telling you, I'm jealous. Yep.
So Caroline, thank you for being here with us. And I need to tell you, you've quite an adventurous, fascinating life. You have let's have you share your story with us, starting from when you were in college.
Sure. So I was studying to be a nurse. I did that for about 2 years, but I didn't really like it. I chose it because mostly my parents wanted me to be a nurse, and I was accepted in the program. But I was not so happy with it, and I tried to find something else, but I didn't know what I wanted to do because I didn't know myself really much, but I wanted to travel. So at some point, I just decided that I should try to do that, and I discovered the working holidays visa for Australia. And I decided to quit college and to go to Australia to learn English and to spend some time over there. So my first time there, so I was by myself. I traveled by myself, and I couldn't talk English at that time, so it was pretty hard. I found a job in a family working as a live-in nanny, which made my life easier for like not having to worry about anything except looking for the kids. But I couldn't talk proper English, and it took me a while. And after a while, I was able to speak better, and I traveled all around Australia. Then I come back to France, and I did another training for management and wellness. I was not fond of it, but I continued and finished it. And at some point of my training, I had an opportunity to work in Saint-Barthélemy, which is in the French Caribbean. And then, as I was about to finish, one of my friends told me that Canada was reopening visa for like the working holidays visa, and that I should apply, which I did. And like 2 days later, I had my visa for Canada. And 1 month later, because the condition was I had to enter Canada before the end of the year, and it was October. So 1 month later, I arrived in Canada, and this was in 2009. So my initial plan was like just to stay there for 6 months, but I ended up staying there for a year, and then more and more and more. Like right now, I'm Canadian. And in the meantime, I met someone, but my visa expired, and I needed to find another place to go for a little while. And I went to Martinique, which is another French Caribbean island. And I worked there on a boat. I was a hostess, and during nighttime, I was like looking that nothing was on our way while the captain was sleeping. So it was really tiring, but it was awesome. Like I saw many beautiful islands. Then my partner found a job in Canada, and it was better for us to come back. So I came back to Canada, and I started university to become a teacher. So I stayed 4 more years in Montreal. And after Montreal, I had an opportunity to go to the West Coast. First, I worked in Vancouver Island. My first job as a teacher was there. And then I had an offer at the end of the school year for Dubai. So I decided to try Dubai, which I really did not enjoy that much. So I came back to Canada and stayed in Vancouver for about 4 years. And just after COVID, I decided that I wanted to try to work in Europe, which I almost never did. And I moved back here. First, I went to Italy to do a training with a Montessori program because it's very well internationally recognized. And then I had a job offer in France. So now I'm here. I have been here for 6 months.
Wow. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, wow.
That's very cool.
I can't believe you fit that all into 36. What is it, 36 years? Most people don't even accomplish that in a lifetime, man. And you have,
right?
Wow. I can't wait to read your book when you're like 60. Oh my God, it'll be this thick, you know?
It's better you have time to read all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for sharing. We will listen more after this little break. So we will be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Carolyn Brochery, here on the Outdoors People Show. Carolyn, I have to ask, wasn't it scary moving to those 6 different countries all by yourself? I mean, that to me would be super scary. By yourself. I mean, or with somebody else, but especially by yourself. Honestly.
The first time I moved, when my first trip to Australia, yes, I was quite scared because of the language barrier, because it was the first time I traveled by myself. And yes, I didn't know who I would meet and etc. and what I would do. And I didn't really plan it. It was very spontaneous. I just decided to quit in the middle of my school year. So it was really the unknown. But for the next one, first I had done it before, so I knew I was able to. And second, I had English, so it was much more easier.
Yeah. I have to kind of wonder though. Did you ever say, geez, am I doing the right thing? I'm doing this big move. Am I doing the right? Did you ever have to ask yourself that? And if you did, I'm sure you came up with a yes because you went, right?
Yes, of course. I was wondering if I was doing the right thing, especially quitting nursing. But I mean, it's adventure, and I was 20 years old, so I thought, so whatever if I wanted, I could have be back to do my nursing degree afterwards. But I think I really needed this break. So
yeah, I'm going to ask you this too. Was that decision really popular with your parents? I'm quitting school. No,
because actually they were traveling and they came back home, and I made my decision and sold my car and what I could to have a little bit of money, and they didn't do anything about it. And when they came back, I told them, "Oh, I have quit it, and I'm going to Australia. I need somebody to drive me to the airport in 2 weeks."
I'll bet that was a nice. I bet that was a fun evening, and I bet there was some conversation there, weren't there?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
They were really mad.
There would have been at my house. I know that. It would have been. Yeah.
I kind of crossed this path, but I guess my parents knew me already, so they just said, "Okay, I was waiting for that someday."
You're so lucky. Oh my gosh, yeah, so lucky. I just didn't do it right.
are so crazy. So they were expecting that.
Yeah. Carolyn and I, we didn't do it right. We probably, yeah, that's why we got the lecture and the discussion. Carolyn, what country of all those, what country was your favorite? And then, of course, the inevitable question is why? Which country?
It's really hard to say because all of them had something. I forgot to mention New Zealand, but I also worked as a ski instructor in New Zealand, and this was an awesome country. I love Australia because it was warm and it was my first experience. But of course, I will say Canada because I became Canadian. I feel very involved in the culture. I learned a lot about myself when I was there. And right now, I still miss it a lot. So Canada.
Did you play any hockey when you were there?
So I learned a lot about myself when I was there. And it's a big part of my identity, I think.
Did you play any hockey or anything like that there?
Hockey? No, just skiing, but not hockey.
All the Canadians are born with a hockey stick in their hand. This is what I hear. So that's the thing.
Not me, unfortunately. I was not born there, so.
Yeah, they're listening to me now going, hey, CW, But yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, right.
And what different kinds of outdoors activities did you do in each of those countries?
So in Australia, hiking, and I started a little bit of surfing, but I learned it later, surfing. Then I was still running. I'm a runner. I have been running all around the world, in all the different places I moved. Then in Dubai, I started kite surfing in Dubai. New Zealand skiing, of course, in New Zealand because I was a ski instructor. I did a lot of hiking, and in Canada, I did many things, including surfing. I really learned surfing in Le Saint Laurent in Montreal because there was like a kind of a static wave over there made by a rock. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No. What is that again?
So it's a kind of a static wave that there is in the Saint Laurent in Montreal, and so it never stopped. And at the beginning, it was a very small community of surfers, and I discovered it just by walking around the city someday. Wow. And then, yes, I bought a surfboard, and I tried to go, and people helped me learning.
How unexpected. Yeah. Learn surfing Canada.
I would never have thought that. Yeah.
Right?
I would think, definitely hockey, but I wouldn't have thought surfing, some ice skating, things like that, but snowball fights, but not surfing. So they do like bodyboard, or what do they call that? Bodyboard. Yeah, bodyboarding. Do they do that there as well? If they surf, right?
I haven't seen any.
No.
Actually, maybe more in Tofino, because actually Tofino in British Columbia is a very famous place for surfing, but not Montreal.
Earlier, and I don't know, I think it was just a word conversation we had before the show, but you mentioned that you weren't really a big fan of snow. So I had to ask you, what was it that made you decide to become a ski instructor?
So yes, I come from like the south of France, which is really warm, but I learned skiing very early because we have a couple of mountains around, and that's the only sport that I can do in the snow, actually, or I could do at that time. And I didn't like Montreal at first because it was very cold, and I'm very sensitive to the cold. So I was trying to find a way of liking winters because I had to be there for a couple of years. And one of my friends was a ski instructor, and I thought because I love skiing, if I became a ski instructor as well, it will make my winters shorter. And it really worked because as soon as I enter like the ski industry, I met so many people. I skied so much. I think one year, the year I worked in New Zealand as well, I skied over 120 days this year.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's also what brought me to New Zealand. I had a job offer as a ski instructor because their winter is our summer. So I was free during the Canadian summer, and I could go to New Zealand for the winter. And I did
all year round. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, exactly. It was like a never-ending winter.
Wow. Yeah, I would do summer that way, but not winter. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. So you did this in New Zealand, and so let me ask you this: I'm sure you got some stories as a ski instructor, some maybe funny disaster stories of because I know I've got one skiing things, and I'm going to call them skiing accidents or incidents. How's that? What's one of those you could share with us?
Oh, I haven't thought about this one. I don't know. I had so many stories, but well, the one
Give us
that
the one where nobody gets killed or injured. That would be a good one.
No, I think the one I can think of is when I just started in Whistler Blackcomb, which is a ski resort in British Columbia, and one of I work for private, and like private lesson was like mostly people like asking for just on one-on-one skiing, and it was also all the VIP, and I barely knew the result, but one of the customer asked for a French lady, and he wanted her to be from France. So they assigned me to this very important person, and I didn't even know the result. It was my first day there, so that was quite really, really stressful. I cannot share the name of the person, but he was somebody very famous.
He was the president of France, wasn't he?
Not of France, almost a king of another country.
He can't give his name away. No, I understand. I totally understand. Yeah,
was a good start.
A very good start, yes.
And I saw that you do free diving. And what exactly is free diving?
So free diving is like going underwater with only one breath. So I started scuba diving. I did my training when I was traveling in Indonesia. Then I did a different level in France and in Mexico. And I wanted to do something in the water, but it was same thing. It was super cold. And I tried to do the training with the like dry suit training, but I didn't like it because it's really uncomfortable. And I ended up upside down in the water and everything. So I kind of gave up on that. And as I was teaching, one of the mom was a big fan of freediving and was trying to get me in. And she offered me a book about Guillaume Neret, which is a famous freediver. And she was like, read that and then come with me freediving. And I really enjoyed the book. And at some point I was like, because I was really scared that I would be so cold. And but I still decided to do it. And it was a very challenging training, actually, because I did that a little bit when I was little without knowing it, like going underwater, holding my breath, trying to see fishes. But the training was quite demanding. We had like 3 different kind of like free diving. One was static apnea, so you just stay still and you just put your head under the water. Then you have dynamic apnea, which is you are still at the surface, but you have to go as far as you can without breathing or just in one breath. And the one that was the most challenging was what they call constant weight free diving, because you have to go on a line and go under water as much as you can with techniques, of course, and you never take risk. But I thought it was really hard to do, especially in BC, because contrary to France, it's really dark, so you don't see anything, and it's really scary. It was super stressful. Wow. Yes. But yeah, I did the training and it was successful. So after that, I could go with other people and do free diving in Canada in the cold water, which was pretty awesome. I remember going on a very, very cold day and it was snowing and we were all together in the water. And at some point I saw something that I thought was a rock, but it was moving. And then I looked better and it was a seal. So yeah. And another time we went to Bowen Island and we were supposed to dive, which we did during the day. And at nighttime we decided to go. And there was like the how do you call that? bioluminescence. It's like in October. You have a lot of microorganisms which produce light. So we just went and it was all dark, but as we moved, we could see all the light in the water, which was super cold, but so gorgeous.
Wow.
I can tell.
That's cool. I can't even imagine. You can't really see that well typically under the water because it's so dark, you said, but how do you know where you're going? That's scary.
You have a line. So you have a line when you do constant weight. So you have your fins or not, or you use your arms, but you have a line that goes underwater. So you don't see, and you don't want to see. You want to be very concentrated and very kind of like in a meditation state. Before going underwater, we do meditation to relax
That's
as much.
very cool.
Yeah. That was really challenging because I really like sport, but like sports which are very dynamic. And this time it was all about like a mind thing. Like it's not, you don't move a lot when you are freediving. You just try to relax and go underwater, and you are very connected to yourself, but also everything around.
Mainly because of the coldness, right? The weather in Canada is very cold. It's freezing there, right?
It is, but what I learned is with a proper suit, it's doable, because really I didn't think I could do it. But like when I did the training, I didn't have my own swimsuit. I rented one, and swimsuit, dry swimsuit. And but after when I started doing it for real, I had one made for me, and it was really, really warmer.
Wow.
And I could stay 45 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutobaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Carolyn Brochery, on Outdoors People. Juan, we've got some photos and some videos, I believe, that Carolyn provided us. Let's take a look at those. And let's do the videos first, and then we'll go to the photos and We'll have her tell us a little bit about each one of those, please. Just photos. My mistake. Let's see photos. I'm like, Juan's going, I don't have videos. I'm like, oh, sorry. I don't know where I got that. Maybe I just thought there was. Okay, my mistake. Sorry, Carolyn, go ahead. What are we looking at here, Carolyn?
It was in the desert in Dubai. One of the good things that I did actually. I don't know how you call it. That a quad? Is it the right name?
Oh, a quad. Yeah. Quad.
Yes.
Yep.
Actually, I had an accident, but it's the same day, but not a big one.
Not there, I hope. That's not you after the wreck, right?
Yeah, it was before that. No, actually, it was awesome because we like the sunset. It was the sunset time, and we did a very big trip all through the desert. But then I got really excited because I was feeling that I knew how it works, and then I felt and. I was knocked out for a little while, but then it was fine. It was not bad, not too bad actually.
Kind of the same happened with me. I was driving one in a trail and I broke my arm afterwards because I fall. Yeah, that's really dangerous, Quadri. I didn't know.
How'd you get that background? That's like perfect. It looks like it's in a photography studio.
Yes.
No, it was a friend that took it.
That's just the horizon. Oh, wow. That's nice. Beautiful.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, free diving. That was during the training, actually. I think I just finished it.
Now, what's the temperature of that water right there, Kelly?
I think around, I would say 8 degrees.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Whoa. And is it disturb the breath? Like you can breathe appropriately in this cold water?
If I can breathe properly, yes, you can breathe properly. It's just you have to save energy, and after a while, for me, it was 45 minutes, not more. But it was after when you get out of the water and you need to remove your swimsuit when it's winter time. It's just the worst part, but otherwise it's fine. Yes. It was much better than I thought it would be, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I got out of the water, and then you have to remove the suit, and that's first. It's really hard to remove, but then it's super cold. But
then is it in Canada?
This was in Canada. It was in a place close to Vancouver.
Cool.
Yeah. Do your feet get cold in those things or no?
Yes, the first part that gets cold are the feet.
I can.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
This place.
Yes, that was a big hike I did in Canada still, British Columbia. It was 30 kilometers hike, but it's really worth it. It's in a Garibaldi Park.
That's just gorgeous.
Very beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. That almost looks like somebody painted that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like real because it's so beautiful.
It doesn't.
So this was during COVID time. So I was really lucky because as I was an instructor the year before COVID, they gave me a pass. So I was able to ski, and I was not instructing much during COVID time, but I was still able to ski a lot. So that's why I have my mask on, just because we had to wear it anywhere there. But we had a party day there, and I was with one of my friends.
Interesting.
This is a huge tree in Canada, in Vancouver Island. Yeah.
What kind of tree is that? You know the species?
Is a cedar tree, I think.
What is it called again?
I think it's cedar, CEDAR.
Okay.
And I think it's like a 1,000, over 1,000 year old.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know the name, but you guys have in United States a whole park of those trees on California.
Yeah, the sequoias, I think they're or the redwoods. Redwood.
Sequoias, I guess.
Yeah, they're huge and they're old. That's a monster, though. Wow.
Yeah.
And that was in New Zealand. We hiked up to the top of the mountain with one of my friends, and then we skied down. I think that's a place called the Remarkables.
That's New Zealand, you said.
Yes, New Zealand.
That's beautiful too. Wow.
Oh yeah, New Zealand is awesome.
Wow.
And that was Dubai.
Oh, wow.
So
Did
yeah,
you surf there too? Did you
I
surf there?
did once. There is no surfing, not much, but it was one special day. They had some wave and I could rent a board, and I went. So you in Dubai, the law, you have to get out as soon as there is no more sun. Like, I mean, it was still clear. I could have continued surfing in another country, but not in Dubai. It's not allowed. I had to get out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very strict there.
Oh yeah, very strict. And this was in Gabriola Island. I did a kayaking trip there, and this rock looked like a heart, so it was very cute.
You're climbing there?
Not climbing, kayaking.
Oh, you're kayaking. Okay, because it looks like you're kind of climbing there. And I was going to say, Maya, look, she's doing it barefoot just like I did in Brazil. I was there. I love that. Carolyn, are you a barefoot person like I am, or what?
I like it, but not too much in Canada. It's too cold.
Well, there's that. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You can freeze your feet.
Yeah, very cool.
This one was in New Zealand as well. On a day we did a trip. Might have been the Remarkables again. When I was in New Zealand, I worked in Mount Hutt, which was closer to Christchurch. But I had a friend working in Queenstown and working in Kadrova, another ski resort, and we did a couple of trips over there.
Very cool. How do you tie those skis to your back? That's what I want. What do you do?
I had a special backpack.
Oh, so those aren't just tied on. You have a pack that carry those. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting. So I have to ask you, do you find it, Carolyn, difficult to maintain relationships when you moving around so much all over the place?
Well, it can be hard, but I think when it means to be, it works. Like, I had a 5 years relationship when I first arrived in Canada. I met someone, and we stayed together for 5 years. He had never traveled before, and he asked for a passport, and then he followed me to the Caribbean. And then we had a couple. Like, it was quite hard for him because he had never traveled. And then I found a job as a hostess on a boat, so I was never with him. And so I had to quit this job because it was really not fair to him. And then we went back to Canada. And yes, so this was probably my longest relationship. After, you have to make choice. So it depends. So I think if you want to make it work, you make it work. But it's not impossible.
Yeah, because I mean, somebody following you around would be pretty tough, though. I mean, from country to country, I would think that would be, that's huge, right?
Yeah, but that's my decision at the end. I can also stay.
Yes, that's true. And feels like can be easier because you don't get tired of the person. You miss the person. So I guess can be good, actually.
Yes, I'm just eventually.
And you are not someone who just stay. So tell us what next. Where do you see yourself in a year?
So this is actually the first time that I really work in France, and this is my country. So I have a lot of adaptation to do. It's really weird to be back after so long. So I'm going to try it, I think, for 2 years at least. And then I'm not sure. I miss Canada a lot. So there is a possibility that I go back to Vancouver. But I'm not sure of anything. I also got a job offer in Australia, I think 2 months ago, and it was really appealing.
Yes.
So
wow.
It's always like, for now, I'm just telling myself that I'm going to try to stay here for 2 years, and then we will see what happens. And if I want to stay or if I want to leave again.
Well, I can only follow that up with this question for you then. What advice then would you offer someone, who would like to live and work in another country just as you have?
So there are many ways of doing it. Now so for people under the age of 30 or 35, it depends on the country, you have the working holidays visa, which was really not a thing when I was young, but now it is. Like, a lot of young people can travel to many different countries thanks to that with no restriction. And then, there are many opportunities. And for teacher, there are many websites. There are many countries looking for English-speaking people in different industry. Teaching English is really helpful if you want to travel, but also being a ski instructor or like doing something like a kind of sport that you love and you are good at can be a way to travel. I would say plan it. It's better. I find that when I plan my travel or like I was more organized, it was really easier than Australia, for example. And learning English, of course, if you are a non-native. Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely. So let me ask you this: if when we do a little meeting before the show, and I remember I mentioned something about is there anything you would do different than you did the first time? And it sounded like there may have been something. What would that have been?
That would have been planning more and having more money. I think because it was really stressful in Australia. So I found this job online with people that I didn't know, and I ended up in the middle of nowhere. But everything went fine at the end, but it could have been wrong, and I would have been in the nowhere knowing what to do. Wow. But so yeah, that's it. I think more planning and having more money aside. But well, I'm very glad I did all this adventure anyway. Nothing bad has never happened. A lot of even when you plan, because I did a lot of also trip in different countries, and even when I plan them, things happen that you didn't plan, and it makes them awesome and very unique. But planning is definitely something that saves money and also time and stress.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine.
Save money, kids.
Save your money, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
And where can people... Sorry? I think I cut someone up. So, okay, go ahead with my question. Where can people go to follow you and your adventures on social media?
So I mainly use Facebook because I have it's since the beginning of my travels. So all my pictures are there. So this is my Facebook, Caroline.bcy. But I also have Instagram, but it's really new. So I don't have many pictures of my travel. I'm adding some, but for now I have a new dog since a month, and there are mainly pictures of my dog.
I saw those. Those are cute. I like your dog. Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Carolyn, thank you for being our guest here on Outdoors People. You're a lovely lady, and it was a pleasure having you here with us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. In the French accent, I don't think we've ever had. Maybe we had one French person, but I love that accent. It's like an elegant accent. Yeah, it's impressive.
Yes, true. We'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show: Rutabaga Paddle Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, The Development of SUP in Poland, with our special guest, Milena Kazubska. It's hard for me to pronounce that. Kazubska. Milena Kazubska. Until then, for Maya Marzaki, this is C.W. Getz saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.